Hey, what's up, guys? So we're gonna do more film and acting breakdown. Well, film study, character breakdown, scene breakdown, and witness some great moments by the characters. So once again, we return to the TV show Lost, which is just an amazing show. I'm really loving it. So right now, the scene we're about to get into is with Jack, played by Matthew Fox, and his father. And this is really a phenomenal scene. And once again, it's just powerful acting. Everybody in this scene is wonderful. Um, it's just amazing how they captured the levels, and also um, how the moments are played just right. So I just love when I come across a scene like this. And I've been binging this show, and I'm mid season two now, and there's just a moment that there's other things I saw that were great, but I was like, this is the one that stopped me in my tracks. Where I was like, oh, I want to break this one down and share it with everybody, especially my fellow artists in my acting community, my fellow actors. So the scene, Jack. Let me give you a little backstory here. So Jack met his wife, typical TV love drama style. He basically saved her life. She was never supposed to walk again, and Jack, this super smart, extremely skilled doctor, surgeon, she ends up walking again because of him. He performs a miracle surgery. So in this episode, by the way, Jack's father is also a phenomenal surgeon. And in this scene, there's this Italian guy who comes with his daughter. He comes all this way. They read many medical journals, and he has this spinal issue where he can't walk, and he has this tumor on his spine. And they come to see Jack because he's the doctor who performed the miracle, and this surgery has been published in many leading medical journals. Now, this is a great scene, and we're going to get into the moments because everything is acted beautifully by everybody. Of course, I will anchor back to Matthew Fox's Jack because he just has some beautiful moments of conflict between dealing with that dichotomy between his father. You'll see the tension, so let's get into it.
Kate!
And here we are.
If you look here and here, you can see it's running into the spinal artery.
Now, this is great. Him and his father consulting. Great father-son relationship. I love this.
Decidi di smettere di bisbigliare, non sono un idiota.
He says you don't need to talk in whispers.
Love my
He
Italian
knows he
people.
doesn't have a chance.
Your father appreciates candor.
We both do.
Well, then tell him I'm very sorry, but he's not a candidate for surgery.
Now, I want to hit pause real quick because that was some great acting there, too. Now, imagine if you were in acting class and you guys were running audition drills, or imagine if you had this audition. Let's just say it's something very similar, a co-star, and you have to tell your father that he's not a candidate for the surgery. You could see how many actors would want to give that line something. Actually, they'd give it too much of something, where they'd want to be so dramatic and show how great of a person they are, and also want to show their ability to emote. But you have to understand that a prestigious doctor, a prestigious surgeon like this, who's very experienced, would deliver that line exactly as he did, where he said, well, then your father has to understand that he's not a candidate for the surgery. Like, the way he said it was professional. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't overly warm to where he didn't do it as if, then your father understands that he's not a candidate for the surgery. You see how dramatic that sounds? Like, he gave it the exact way. It was professional, yet it was sincere, but it had to be like, if you were going to have a verb for that line, an action, it would be, to professionalize, in a sense. You know what I mean? To professionalize with sincerity, your intention, So it's that line read is great. So I wanted to point that out real quick. So now we're going to get into some great conflict here between Jack and his father, Because remember, his father, who he's kind of on his way out. It's almost like the sensei and the student in a sense, and now his son is the hotshot surgeon. So even though it's a father's son relationship, and they love each other, there is a bit point where like your son becomes the new head honcho. You know what I mean? Where he's the new sensei in a sense. So you're gonna watch how this is really how it's handled so beautifully in this scene. Great writing, by the way, but watch the great acting.
Papà, lui è come gli altri. Non lo farà.
The way the tumor is situated on the spine, it's just not possible to remove it.
Once
Ci
again,
proverò?
super professional.
Okay.
Beautiful.
He wants to know why you won't try.
Because what your father is looking for is not a surgical procedure. What he is looking for is a miracle.
Signore, non sono venuto fino a qui per lei. Sono venuto qui per il suo figlio.
He said, I did not come all this way for you, sir. I came for him.
Wow.
Miss Bissoni,
You fixed the woman with a crushed spinal column.
All right. So if you watch that moment, I'm going to rewind it 10 seconds. That kind of hurts the father in a sense because he's used to being the leading guy in that situation, the go-to guy. So his pride's a little bit hurt. I mean, he knows he's still great, but now they go to his son before they would go to him, to where my son has surpassed me. Where inside, he definitely is proud of his son. And at the same time, you could see the way the actor really, acts out that emotion, that emotional response with no lines, where he just says, my son's the new one. Yeah. I'm not the champion anymore, like I'm not the guy anymore. And that's still tough, like you're proud of your son, but at the same time you're conflicted, there's that emotional conflict to where like, I'm not number one anymore. It hurts, I don't even have to articulate that. You get that as a human being. So let's rewind it and just watch how he handles that. A little bit more.
He said, I did not come all this way for you, sir. I came for him.
Miss Bissoni,
You fixed the
Now, before he says what he says, we watched that. You also just saw how Jack handles that. That's some beautiful acting because it's a moment to where Jack takes it as he feels bad for his father because he knows he feels a little hurt that he's kind of replaced him in a sense. But also you could tell that he's hiding how good it is to take good news, but not in the manner you would wish to receive it. Like it didn't work out perfectly there in that scenario. We're like, man, it's great news, but not really. Like, damn, my dad feels real bad right now. Shit. And then he gets up to speak and does what he does. Now watch.
woman with a crushed spinal column. An impossible surgery. And now she walks, yes? I consulted many medical journals before making this trip here.
Then you should know it was a very different case under very different circumstances.
But a miracle, right?
Beautiful acting by her too.
look, everything that my father's saying, the risks, the unlike.
Now, real quick, with this writing, look how Jack backs up his father, and look how it's acted so well. Nothing is overly dramatic here. Like everything is right at the right levels. You really have to appreciate acting like that, where other actors think, I would give it something, I would do this and that. And it's not like they're wrong for thinking that, because actors love to act and they love emotionally intense scenes. And you have to understand that not everything is at that level. Not everything has to be over emoted. So look how he handles it. And also with the beautiful writing and how the actor has the right intellectual response, and more importantly, the right visceral response to the way Jack handles it by Matthew Fox. Jack and Matthew, same person, whatever. Look how Jack backs up his father, yet goes into what he does. Like he's splitting straws here, but he's getting into it because like you could see where he's feeding into it, but he has to like, maybe I could do this surgery if this guy really wants to take that risk. Maybe I can make it happen. I've made a miracle happen before. I'm not really, I'm more of a man of science, not a man of fate. But I've done it before, and that's science. If I did it before, maybe I could do it again. He's starting to believe, Also, the father, watch his acting there too, how he handles that.
Likelihood, he's absolutely right.
But will you try?
Great acting. Look at him. Look at his response. It's so perfect. How could I not try? What kind of person would I be if I didn't give you the opportunity? Let me look at it. It is possible. I've done it before. I could do it again. Like, everything in his eyes says that. Look at him, gaining hope, believing.
I'll have to admit him in the next couple of weeks. Run some tests.
La ringrazio tantissimo.
I like his guy. Look at that look. Now it's such a beautiful way to end the moment. Now, guys, really look at it, because Jack's having a great moment here. He's about to give it a shot. These people know the risk. Remember, it's a miracle. So if it fails, they're very well aware of that. But look how his father kind of disapproves in a sense. And he has to handle that. But also his father kind of just been, he's no longer the gold medalist. He's now silver, and look how the acting is beautifully handled between that look.
I'll have to admit him in the next couple of weeks. Run some tests.
And also hurts to be the son when your father's not really proud of what you
La
did.
ringrazio
And you can see how
tantissimo.
Jack's also hurt that his father doesn't approve right here. Look at it. Man. Look how he handles it right there too. Happy but not happy. Dad walking out the door. Shit. Fucking beautiful acting. I don't need to see anything. I don't even need to say anything else. Watch it as many times as you want. Perfect. Perfect acting. Oscar was won for this. I don't even know if you can't win an Oscar because it's TV, right? But that goes to show you that Oscars aren't everything. And if you didn't win a fucking Emmy, I put Grammy and Emmy together. If you didn't win an Emmy, fuck the Emmys. Listen, great acting when you see it. You don't need an award to fucking validate it. That's A1. That's as perfect as it gets. And I don't even need to say anything else. The only other thing I'll say is to relate to that, if you're a woman, whatever your relationship is with your mother or your father, if you're a man, relationship with your dad, whatever, or whoever was a father figure to you, you've more than likely experienced a moment like that. Somewhere in life. You know what I mean? It'll be even more relatable and something you can empathize with even more when it's more intimate, when it's a mother-daughter, father-son, or whatever the case may be. All right, guys, it's your boy, Dominic Costa. Follow me at Self-Discovered Man here on Instagram. You can follow any of my YouTube channels on YouTube. Just type in Dominic Costa Actor. A bunch of shit will pop up. Google me. I'll pop up that way too. All right. Much love.